Hey guys, and welcome to yet another video. I have a cup with marshmallows because I just came back from a camp that we do each and every year, and I just wanted to share some thoughts about it. So we're always in the forest during 3 days. I think it's more or less 2.5 days. And so we camp there in our tents. We don't have anything, like we don't even have a toilet. They just dig a hole and then we put the toilet seat. So it's kind of a toilet in the outdoors, but it's not a real toilet. It's really not very sanitary and everything. And you're on your feet a lot of the time, so you use a lot of energy, especially because I'm a leader and I'm gonna explain it a little bit more in detail. But our club has about 8 groups, and so each group has kids of how is it called? 2 ages. Just like our kids now are 7 to 8 years old or 6 to 7 years old, and then I'm already a leader since 9 years. So my kids, because each and every life cycle of those groups is 8 years. So I've had my kids since 8 years, and then last year they became leaders themselves. So now I'm kind of guiding them and teaching them how to lead and how to plan for those programs and camps and stuff like that. And so I've been doing this since a very long time. And last year I didn't go because I couldn't due to having exams exactly at the date of the camp in another country, so it was impossible to go. And then the year before was COVID, so during the hardest years of my recovery I couldn't attend. But the year before, where I was very, very deep in my ED, I attended the camp, and I just wanted to explain to you the difference between back then and this year because it's crazy. So back then, the whole day basically I was thinking about food, and there is so much to think about other than food because your mind is busy with all of those kids having questions, having desires, and the programs that you're planning and preparing, and like the whole day is just so busy. And 3 years ago, back in my ED, I was just literally the whole day concerned with food. I was anxious about food. I was like trying to move more so that I would burn more calories, even though like already I was super exhausted. Sometimes I struggled standing up because I was so tired. And I remember for the whole day I wouldn't really eat much. Like I would eat, but it was little for what I actually would need because, as I said, you move a lot during those days, and also you don't get a lot of sleep, so it's even more necessary to eat a lot. And then I remember there was this one night, and I don't know if I brought it. I think we used it for a program, like this huge block of chocolate. It was more than 200 grams. I think it was more like 400 grams of chocolate. So it's like 4 times a normal chocolate bar. And I'm always, after the kids go to bed or go to their tents, the older leaders, they kind of go together around the fire and they just joke and we just talk for a really long time. And I had this chocolate, and I remember giving it around and nobody really ate a lot of it. So I just ended up eating a lot because I think my body needed so much. So I just kept on eating this chocolate. So I don't know how many grams I ate at the end, but it was a lot. Because just that's the typical thing, like you try to restrict the whole day and the whole days and everything, and then in the end you just end up eating it more to kind of compensate for it. Because if I wouldn't have eaten that, probably next day I would have struggled so much with doing normal things because I just didn't have any energy. And now comparing it to this year's camp, I just always made sure to eat a lot. I also tried to eat some snacks. It's difficult because you're just very busy a lot of the times. But I remember one morning, I think it was the second day out of 3, I woke up and I felt like low energy. So I had this bag. I also have it here. Those are kind of almonds with chocolate around them, and they taste a bit like coffee. They're amazing. They just were introduced in Switzerland, and so this is like a little nice package. They're quite a lot, so it was filled until here. And I just opened it and ate the whole thing before we even ate breakfast because I just noticed I need more energy. And so I would have never done that in any other year where I still was with my eating, because I would have been like, oh my god, I'm eating more than anyone else. I'm eating at a time where no one is eating, blah blah blah. This is blah 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 blah, like stupid ass thoughts. But this year I just knew, or I know my body. I know, you know what, maybe yesterday for the amount of movement I didn't eat enough. So what did I do? I made sure to eat enough. And so yeah, those are leftovers also from the camp. We ate them on 2 evenings, marshmallows over the fire. And yeah, so those are some reflections when I compare myself. And this year I didn't think about food at all. It's sometimes crazy to me. And also I was leading a lot of the programs and didn't really participate in the sports activities. And any other year this would have freaked me out, because I would have been like, oh my god, all of my colleagues and all of the kids are moving so much more than I do. Because I don't know why my ED, this comparison thing, was super strong. A lot of my decisions were based on comparing myself to other people. Even though that's stupid, because I'm taller than almost all of the people around me, because I'm 6 foot. And all of my girlfriends are like 5'6" or 5'5" or whatever. You know, it's just a normal height, and so obviously they need less energy. But my boyfriend, he always does this. Like, usually when someone is stupid or something stupid happens, you make like this, and he always goes like that. Okay, anyway, so yeah, that was more or less about it. I also wanted to tell you about something else, and I love it because lately I've been hearing from quite some people that I'm very strong, like from guys, because I'm very tall, so obviously it's easier for me to be strong because I have more body weight. But then we did some type of contest where just in the air we did an arm. I just know it in German, but usually you do it on the table, but I did it with them in the air, and all of them were like, you really are strong. And for me nowadays, that's like the best compliment ever. If someone tells me like, oh, did you lose weight, you look skinny, something like that, it really isn't that much of a compliment anymore, which is crazy because back then I loved it. But now, I mean, I didn't love it because I was always really strong in trying to defend myself and tell them like, oh, okay, no, that's just like it happened naturally. The weight loss is not that much, just so they wouldn't start to worry. But nowadays, I just don't like being told that. I just prefer hearing compliments about other qualities than the way I look, even though it's very sweet if people like try to hype you up, but just not necessary, I guess. Okay, and I wanted to tell you about another instance that happened to me. So I was never really insecure about my belly because it was always quite flat, and it still is. But obviously, if you're not super skinny and you go like that, like you just do like that, and especially if you're wearing a belt, obviously there will be like this roll, you know. And so I was with my guy, and then I wore a belt, so it was kind of going in, and then I had just had this roll between my belt and between my bra because I was leaning forward, and then something happened, and if it happened before, I would have freaked out because it just makes you very insecure. But he touched this thing, this roll, and then he actually kept on touching it. I was like, what the fuck? But it just kind of showed me, things that you're so insecure about. It probably, like, nobody thinks it's a bad thing. It just is there and it's cute. Like, it's just a role. It's nothing from, I don't know. So what I want to tell you, a lot of your insecurities are valid. I mean, all of your insecurities are valid, but the probability that you're thinking or overthinking it and making it much worse than it actually is very, very large. So please calm down. It's just like some fat or it's just some cellulite. I also have very, very strong stretch marks, especially in my inner thighs, because I just gained and lost and gained a lot of weight throughout my life, and I grew a lot, so I look like a zebra, but that's fine. It's just, think of it like it makes you you. There's also, for example, I'm very tall and I used to be extremely, extremely insecure about it. I hated seeing myself in photos being taller. But nowadays, when we have like group photos or just photos from far behind, maybe I can show you one. I actually love the fact that I'm so tall because I always see myself. Okay, let me hope you can see that. But this is me. Like, you can just immediately find me because I'm just standing out, or also here. You just see me because I'm taller. So yeah, all of the little things that make you make you unique, they are great. They're nothing bad. And a little roll there or a little flabby arm or whatever it might be, it makes you and you're beautiful. So please don't worry about it. And yeah, those were some thoughts, some food for thought, I guess.